I am a sole author for a strategic business review that I'm presenting at the Capstone event of my executive MBA program at Quantic. I'm a people leader within Medtronic of Canada. I have a group of 10 independent contributors who report to me. And the reason that I selected this topic is that, in part, this presentation was given by me to our senior executive and global teams. Medtronic, as I'll detail in the presentation, is an organization that brought a technology to market, but wasn't quite prepared and didn't quite understand the environment that it was bringing that technology into. If we had had more time, or if various elements hadn't changed, it could have been a very different product launch for us. So without taking any more time, I'll get into the presentation. Thank you. I think the best place to start is with a corporate overview before getting to the specific problem statement. So I work for Medtronic of Canada, but Medtronic is a global organization with over 95,000 employees organized into four large sectors: cardiovascular, neurosciences, of which I'm a part, medical, surgical, and diabetes. We have a very diverse portfolio of technologies that we've acquired through acquisitions over the last 75 years. Medtronic ENT is one of those acquisitions that occurred in 1999. Our headquarters are still based in Jacksonville, Florida, and the technologies brought to market by the ENT division are focused on sinus surgeries, head and neck surgeries, and otology procedures. And about a year and a half ago, Medtronic acquired yet another technology for its ENT group called Intersect ENT. So this presentation is also something that will serve for future launches, not only past ones. So while the organization is global, Medtronic Canada, the organization within which I work, operates very much independently. We generate over $500 million US dollars annually and are by far the market share leader in Canada. As I'll outline later in this presentation, several elements have caused an acute employee turnover. And in many ways, this has been caused by the COVID-19 challenges. It changed the priorities for our hospitals. It also changed the types of surgeries that were being planned. Medtronic is typically focused in elective, non-emergency surgeries, the postponement of which had a significant financial impact for us. There were also global supply chain challenges, which were very problematic given that many of our product sectors, including ENT, have one global production site in Jacksonville, Florida, and then the products are distributed globally. All of those elements changing all at once created acute strain on our field-based teams, and led to resignations that have stabilized but really challenged us. So that brings us to the problem statement. In the late 2020, Medtronic launched a product called a NIM Vital. It was an intraoperative nerve monitor that was critical for head and neck surgeries, where surgeons were operating near the patient's facial nerves, as well as the vagus nerve, which controls your speech in a thyroid surgery. The challenges that the organization experienced were around quality, supply chain, but also expanded into competitors that were not expected, that arrived on the market right at the same time that we launched our technology, which was unfortunately timed during the COVID-19 pandemic. My hope is that we will be able to present some of the vulnerabilities that we need to address and analyze them using different strategic models in order to reveal what is the status quo. Once we've understood that, we need to move into recommendations and how to properly implement those recommendations so we can get back on track in the Canadian market. The first analysis that I think is extremely relevant follows the basic competitive strategies that we need to outline. There are three core challenges. Um, I've touched on them a little bit up until this point. Supply chain, which led to a crisis of components. Those components needed to be updated, which were done by Medtronic using software corrections. Those patches were done very inconsistently. And it led to the organization having different levels of quality in different regions. This was the worst possible foundation for competitors to jump on because they were able to leverage those first two challenges to gain market share. Typically, when we're looking at the market, the Porter's five forces are a great way to understand what competitive environment we're in. Medical device is an area where there are significant financial and regulatory barriers to entry. It's also an area where hospitals are very influential. And tolerance to Medtronic supply chain disruptions is really running out at this point. The parts that are used to manufacture products for us are highly regulated and really do not tolerate supply chain disruptions at all. Um, the technology doesn't accept substitutions. Patients undergoing these surgeries need to have the ability to have their nerves monitored at all times. Um, and because of the relationship that Medtronic has with healthcare providers, being present to support the use of those technologies during surgeries over the last three generations of the system allowed us to develop very strong relationships with those same healthcare providers. When all of these elements started changing simultaneously, new competitors were able to break in and take market share from us. A Pastel environment, a Pastel analysis is going to reveal very much the same, that the industry is highly regulated with healthcare practitioners and hospitals influencing many of the decisions, patients expecting quality of life to be at the forefront of the surgery, and both patients and surgeons expecting that integration with other technologies will provide key advantages. This is the fourth generation system that we've brought to market. And so disposing of older systems was something that was absolutely on the mind of most hospitals. And the quality and supply chain disruptions that were caused by the launch of this product led to recalls as well as litigation. So it's a very complex environment, one that Medtronic had not previously faced. Medtronic has an advantage to use its vast resources to gain scale, but doesn't typically use a cost leadership model. We typically use product differentiation to allow us to ensure our products are viewed as superior and distinct, and then allow for premium pricing. The messages around the launch of the nerve monitor are then very, very focused on the different markets that are going to use it. That allows us to, again, control the pricing strategy in our favor. Many of these elements changed. And so Medtronic had initially prepared a launch, assuming it would be in a blue ocean, which really was not the case. The arrival of new competitors, the underutilization of strategic alliances led to Medtronic launching a product where it believed it could differentiate and play on its own, having to then face up against a market that was not responding well to the messages that were crafted. There is absolutely a way to get back on track and get back into a blue ocean, and none of these have been explored so far. So let's start looking at those strategic recommendations with the remaining time. We absolutely need to look at strategic alliances. There are partnerships and internal alliances that have not been well used. There are other device manufacturers outside of Medtronic that can be our allies. We need to diversify. We can't continuously look at the same markets we've always played in. There are adjacent medical segments that we can leverage. There are areas of Canada that are difficult to reach where telemedicine and remote monitoring would be possible with this new technology. There are also non-medical markets like veterinarian markets that would benefit this technology. Finally, in order to properly implement any of these strategies, we're going to need to establish a clear approach that understands the market needs and then focus on our strengths and ensure that we are launching pilot programs and reassessing. I think that the best way to ensure a successful relaunch is to make sure we have a strategic business plan and a balanced scorecard so that the executive leadership team is able to clearly see what benefits are being delivered, what actions are being taken. Um, the analysis that I had done revealed that we have challenges in financial, customer, and internal processes that the executive team needs to focus on. Finally, as we implement this framework, we're going to need to think over one, if not two, fiscal calendars and think about the preparation as well as the development, and then make sure that about 18 months to 2 years out, we're looking at post-launch metrics. We have other technologies coming, and we need to make sure that we're able to get to work so that we can talk about something new within Medtronic Canada and within ENT. Thank you.